year. The policy framework keeps evolving, and so do our activities. For Cedefop, this means continuity, refocusing, and novelty in our work at the same time. Our aim is, as you know, to provide evidence and support to inform and help shape vocational education and training, or VET, in Europe as something that, through a kind of can-do attitude, becomes a tool for resilience and an engine for innovation, as something that is proactive, learner-centered, and empowers citizens and enterprises to shape and manage the challenging transitions successfully. Stop me if you've heard this one before from me, but VET is not a repair shop. We take care of those who lose out on digital or green transitions. VET is instead an enabler of these transitions. With our forward-looking research, expertise and evidence covering both education and training and the labour market, and through our close proximity to and cooperation with VET's main stakeholders, which are governments, social partners, VET providers, at policy level and on the ground, we do help drive the agenda and realize Europe's ambitious goals. Now to the slide that you already see on our performance. 2021 was the first full year of the new policy cycle with the objectives and priorities of the skills agenda, the VET recommendation and the Osnabrück Declaration, which we all helped to shape, as well as further initiatives in the wider policy framework, the social pillar action plan, Fit for 55, a Commission strategic foresight report as examples. And 2021 has also been the first year which put our vision of VET and our own Cedefop post-2020 strategy to the test. It was developed with our management board, and I believe that the provisional figures from our performance management system, which you all know well, speak for themselves. And talking about this performance management system, or PMS, this is a good moment to thank you for praising it in several recent discharge reports. Two achievements I believe are particularly noteworthy. First, this is the second year of the pandemic, and our team has proved very resilient, committed, and performing strongly. I'm heavily indebted to all my staff and my management team, and I want to thank them also here in this forum. Secondly, and despite the drawbacks of virtual meetings that we are all aware of, these virtual meetings actually helped us to reach a much wider audience than we could have reached in hosting on-site events. And this large number of participants certainly reflects the relevance of and the interest in our themes. And for us, it also proves that participants and the Commission obviously value our work. Next slide, please. They value our work, like, for instance, on skills intelligence. To know which skills are required at which levels, in which areas, for whom and how, that is a crucial piece of information for evidence-based policy making and for triggering the right investments in skills. For this purpose, we have developed a sort of compass. We call it Labour Market and Skills Intelligence, or LMSI. It is so much more than just data or statistics. It's the analysis, synthesis, and the interpretation of this data that provides the added value and makes it meaningful for you as well as for other users. Importantly, no single source or method, be it our new skills forecast, our updated skills index, or the big data-powered real-time labor market intelligence, no single source provides all the answers, as is evident from this slide. And this is why we need to blend insights that are coming from different data sources and analysis. But this is not enough. Our aim is to fill the gaps that still exist. There's a need for smarter, timelier skills intelligence that is more transition-focused and more relevant to sectors, businesses, and people. And this is also why we are working to take our skills intelligence to the next level. And Commissioner Schmid, when opening our conference last April, rightly highlighted those gaps and obstacles, and we are committed to deliver. In particular, skills for green transition has turned out to be a major blind spot, quite contrary to the impacts of digital transition. And our new Green Observatory, which we are launching this year, will provide targeted insights based on different sources. Our recently published comprehensive green skills forecast scenario, which looks at the implications of the Green Deal, is just one more example. It suggests that the green transition has the potential to alleviate job polarization. This is good news for society if these societies embrace VET as an enabler. Moving to the next slide, please. So we're asking, how can VET help citizens and enterprises to shape and manage the new green paradigm? Well, together with the OECD, we put the limelight on apprenticeships, as their proximity to the labor market and their specific governance structure, in particular with the involvement of the social partners, makes it easier to translate change into learning outcomes. Apprenticeships allow young people to acquire occupation-specific green skills and, more generally, sustainability competences. But they also cater for adults who need to move from declining sectors to new jobs. These characteristics make apprenticeships not just a passive actor in fixing problems, but a potential accelerator of change, an enabler of the green, or, as a matter of fact, of any transition. And this is has also a welcome trickle-down effect. If apprenticeships facilitate change, then apprentices become change agents. Or put differently, while higher education helps us to understand what a transition is about, apprenticeships bring it about. And talking of higher education, mobility has empowered generations of higher education students and also learners in school-based VET. The share of apprentices has been depressingly low. And thanks to the initiatives of this House, the new Erasmus Plus program cycle could be a real game changer for apprentices and might give them a chance to benefit from longer stays abroad, provided that it becomes a national priority. We've looked into the challenges, suggested ways forward, and we hope that they will be adopted and help member states towards the mobility targets of the VET recommendation. Next slide, please. Our research and events also informs and supports the debate on two hot issues, namely micro-credentials and individual learning accounts. We had a big conference last November on micro-credentials, and we have also been offered by the Commission to use the preliminary findings in a discussion with the Advisory Forum and with the Directors General for Vocational Education and Training. And it looks that our further work on how micro-credentials can help people accumulate learning across VET sectors and industries, borders and lifespans will support the implementation of the respective recommendation. While we're making the case for coordinated support policies to make lifelong vocational learning a reality, we also look at pillars like guidance, validation, and financing. And in financing, we of course also address individual learning accounts, which we have always seen as one of many potential financial and non-financial incentives to engage enterprises and also learners. And here we will also look at micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the future, as they are the backbone of our economies. It's essential that they also play a vital part in the skilling revolution that's going ahead. Lastly, we also have a new or revised mandate monitoring the VET recommendation, the priorities, and the Osnabrück Declaration. And this is the first year in which we will start looking at the incoming national implementation plans. And we have drafted a very smart monitoring approach together with our sister agency, ETF. Cesare will speak to you in just a moment. Next slide, please. And as my time is running up, I will really only briefly mention, of course, we also invest in our own corporate tools and processes. Please go and visit our brand new web portal, which has different access points, is very interactive, also has very smart data visualization. That is something that I ask you for. And then also please have a look on the right-hand side of the slide that we don't only talk about green, we also walk the talk about green, and we will be saving significant amounts of money on our missions and meetings, because we will not return to pre-pandemic levels. We will still have in-person meetings for sure, but by far less. And this will, of course, also be a contribution to our environmental footprint and helping us to gain climate neutrality with all other, in concert with and with the support of the EU agency network by 2030. Next, and then really last slide, at least last content slide. We are, of course, continuing to work with other agencies. Maybe allow me to highlight one that you see at the bottom right of the slide, where together with Eurofound and OSHA and the Environment, Gender Equality and Fundamental Rights agencies, we draft a report to demonstrate how our work, our scientific evidence addresses and supports the implementation of the Green Deal. And then, as my time is up, sorry to extend it, final slide with a nice picture. We had a very prominent visit by Vice President Skinas and Commissioner Schmid last year. If you could also show the slide, thank you. After a long time without any visitors here in Thessaloniki, it was a very beautiful occasion, if you will, confirming that the evidence that Cedefop provides is relevant for EU-level policy making. Thank you very much.